Today's podcast is brought to you by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. Accidents happen. Without the right coverage from the right insurance company, damage to your automobile can be a real financial hit. That's why Kentuckians appreciate the competitive rates and personal service they get from Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance. When the unexpected happens, count on us to help you get back on the road. To request a free quote, find your local KFB insurance agent at mykfbagent.com. Kentucky Farm Bureau, big on commitment. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm cold. I'm very cold.
It's freezing.
It's been really cold and a lot of snow. And I talk about this sometimes within this podcast, how much I really like the idea of snow. I really like the idea of snow.
Wild to me.
You like Colorado and just skiing and beautiful. And then it happens. And then I go, I don't like the idea of snow. So I'm not a big fan. It's nice in waves and maybe go away right away. Mm-hmm. But it's not. It hasn't been going away. It's been very cold on top of the snow that came, and we've had a little more. It's just been not fun. So
to be clear, by the time this posts, we will probably all be living in mud. And I'd like to just go ahead and state that. We're aware. I think we're recording a little bit ahead. We had the weather jacked up our podcast schedule. So we did have to record when we finally found each other and drove through the snowpocalypse. But and you'll hear it on the podcast. I don't like snow. I don't like winter. I really don't like snow. I'm cool with the frozen ground. That helps me a lot with my cattle. But pretty much anything below that 30, 28 degree mark, I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
I have to break ice. I have to unroll hay. I never liked it as a child. Pretty much after the phase of building a snowman, I'm over it. All it is pulling stuff off of fences. Things fall, things break. Anyway, farm kids, very few are like, you know what's awesome? A week of snow. No, we don't like it.
Well, with that, Austin had an idea. And Austin's from Marshall County.
What up?
Lives in Louisville,
West Kentucky.
So he's got this good, blend of both. He's lived in Louisville. He's lived in Hodgenville now. And he asked this, and I don't know. This is one of these urban Matt, rural Renee questions. Rural Renee.
A little alliteration there.
Rural Renee. All right. Have you ever shoveled your driveway?
No.
How? What do you mean? I don't.
So
That's what he said this, and I'm like,
this man named Henry Ford made this thing called a truck.
Okay.
And that bad boy's got 4-wheel drive.
Uh-huh.
So we just get out of the driveway.
Just drive over.
So if somebody needs to
use the truck to shovel it and move it out of the way. It's just drive over it altogether.
You just drive. Here's the other thing. If someone, and then I can already hear people being like, what about your mom? What about your sister? Yeah, you just get dropped off where you go. It's a normal occurrence in West Kentucky or in a rural area. My mother-in-law, my father-in-law may have to drive her to the bank if it's real bad. We're not going to shovel the driveway. Also, do you know how long my driveway is?
That's what I was
really long driveway.
Literally my next question. That's probably more as much the problem.
I get a text, yesterday I got a text and my husband said, hey, 4-wheel drive to get up the driveway today. And I go, cool. That's it. That's the whole thing. I talked through Siri, thanks, thumbs up emoji. And then I put her in 4-wheel drive at the bottom and you just gun it and see if you fishtail on the way up. And if you're in 4-wheel drive, you better not be fishtailing. But anyway.
Yeah. So as an urbanite, I guess, or whatever I am, I have shoveled a driveway, but I have a teenage boy.
And he does it.
And he does it now, which has been wonderful. We kind of have to do it because we got little dinky cars. But yeah, so that's certainly a difference in the world. But speaking of today, we have somebody that was going to be a part of our podcast. The snow got us.
But we didn't make her brave the snow. We let her call in.
She lives on the other side of Kentucky. There's no chance she's going to be able to drive to us. On the phone, Kristie Guffey. I think this is a great chat. She's a lively, awesome lady, and I really think people are going to love it. She talks, I think she gives her two cents on the snow as well. So it's a lot of fun. This should be a great one for the audience.
All right, let's do this thing. Without further ado, I'm Renee Carrico.
And I'm Matt Hilton.
Let's get rural. The only place where it snowed today on my entire drive in, the place I live,
just
Springfield, nowhere else snowed. I'm like, oh no, I bet everybody's gonna be late. And then I crossed into Spencer County 1 county over. And I was like, oh, look,
Well,
clear roads.
that ties into this podcast a little bit. We were going to meet with our guests today in person at the Young Farmer Conference, but the snow.
Frigid temps.
Yeah, so this was just posting about a week after, but we were, the great snow of 2026 got this. But Kristie, you've been generous to give us some time anyway and hop on the phone with us.
Glad to be here. Yeah, we actually have a little bit of some snow flurries this morning, so you're not the only one, Renee.
There you go. Springfield and Murray. That's it.
Yeah.
Right next to each other.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think we had any snow. I'm in Bullitt County, just south of where we are today. But yeah, we didn't have anything. And there was supposed to be some more coming in this weekend, but then I think it's got pushed back into the week. Which, whatever. I'm just. I think I always like the theory of snow. Like, I'm like,
do you? Because I don't.
I'd like live in Colorado and ski, and then it happens, and I go, actually, we were in Anaheim, and it was 70 every day.
That was cool.
I was like, actually, hold on, this is.
All right, Kristie, you grew up the same way I did.
Yeah.
Did you like a snow day? I did not like a snow day. I had to work on snow days.
Well, I actually didn't mind it, but I'm kind of like, okay, we've had snow, check. So back in December, Bardstown, that area, your area, you all got a lot of snow. Well, I do some work with Kentucky Corn Growers, their Collegiate program. And so I'm like, okay, this is great. You all got the snow. We didn't, but I'm done. Check, done. Nope. Fern decided to wreak havoc on our lives, and it's a frozen tundra in far western Kentucky. But no, and as a teacher, I didn't really I liked one snow day, maybe two, but beyond that, then I'm like, we need to get going here. And I love summer. I am a summer girl through and through.
Yeah, if it starts bleeding into your summer break, I get that. Like, my son really thinks it's great, NTI and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, they keep having too many snow days. You're gonna really regret that in May, June when this comes back around. You gotta
when kids graduate and then they have to go back to class right
3
after.
more days or something like that.
All right, well, Kristie, we have referenced it slightly, but you are way out west. It makes me laugh. I'm from Princeton, which is right down the road from where you're actually from, and it cracks me up when people say, "Wow, that's way over there." Well, you found the other corner, and there's still some after you. So tell us about
absolutely.
Where's Kristie from, and kind of tell us a little bit of your story.
All right. So, I was born and raised in Trigg County, so right beneath you in Princeton. Born and raised there. We grew up a small 53-acre farm. We had tobacco and have cattle. And so I grew up, was very active in the FFA, and my trajectory, I never thought I would end up in Murray, Kentucky, but that is exactly where I'm at, which we're about 45 minutes to 50 minutes from the Mississippi River. And it's really kind of interesting how doors open in your life that you didn't think would open, and doors close that actually were good for you that at the time you thought, this is not really what I wanted. But I grew up in a very tight-knit community of Trigg County, very supportive. I was at broadband, and everybody always associates so you're the country ham, you're the one the arena's named after. Well, actually, no, but it was in the year of my birth, and so I'm going to live that up. Smith we are distantly related, but nonetheless, obviously, in the honor of my birth, they built a arena after him/me. You pick. But that's kind of my ticket to fame. And of course, my girls do 4-H right now, and they do the country ham. And so I'm always like, you need to mention who you are, who your family is, which is, the second-hand cousins of the dynasty Broadbent. And so anyways, but that's kind of, I grew up around agriculture, very passionate about it. And I was very active in the FFA. And whenever I went to school at Western Kentucky University in Bowling Green, that's when I met my mentor, David Coffey. And just from that point on, the world opened up to me, and I decided to do ag ed. And so I was a high school teacher. And again, like I said, I've done a lot of different things. Was an SFA camp director, literally as far as Glasgow, Kentucky, Hardinsburg to Fancy Farm. So I've been a little bit all over the western half of the state, crossed over 65 a little bit in that Glasgow area, but elsewise I've pretty much been in western Kentucky.
Very cool. Yeah. By the way, go Tops.
Every time.
Tops on top.
She teaches at Murray now.
I know. That's all right.
I do, but
She's doing her
it's
best.
still our alma mater.
Yeah.
She's probably just sitting over there with her shoes up right now while you're saying go Tops.
Yeah, go Tops.
Yeah.
No, the first time I met you, we did a bluegrass and backroads story on the FFA camp, and I had you like sitting on the dock. I don't know if you remember this, and you were in my interview about the camp and what do y'all do there, and I think that's that. I probably had bumped into you before that, but that was the first time I was like, this lady's got all the energy. She's perfect for this. So yeah, so I think your path has been really interesting. So talk about like what is it about what you do that you're just really you keep stepping it up a little bit by doing even higher level things. But what is it about it that you feel is such a need? You wouldn't be doing this if you didn't think this was really a need out there. So talk about ag education and why. What's your why for doing this?
That is by far the most, thought-provoking question. Whenever I'm working with student teachers or I'm working with folks at Murray State in their master's degree, specialist degree, I always ask them, what's your why? So there's a great book, Simon Sinek, and it's Start With Why. And I've often thought I come from a very, we didn't have a lot growing up. My parents dropped out of high school. They got their GED. And, I'm a little bit different in my family. We're all hard workers. My brother, whatnot. But I was the first member of my family to go to college. And then I just kept going. And obviously, I just can't get enough of college life because I'm still here. But I don't know. I really think that in life, there are people, we're shaped. Culture is a learned behavior, and we're shaped by the people who influence us, that environment that we surround ourselves with. And if we're open to that, I think there's so many things that this life gives you, and if you take those opportunities. And so it's really been a passion of mine coming from a student who went to college on Pell Grants and scholarships. That's the only way that I was going to be able to go. I was the free lunch kid. And so, to have that opportunity and for people to pour into me, I think that's what the most important thing is. And, agriculture poured into me. Agriculture was really kind of one of those first stops where I was like, okay, I don't have to have, now this is going to date me. I don't have to have the Guess jeans and, and the Eastern shoes and those kind of things, that everybody else did. I have found an area where I thrive in, and this area that I'm passionate about. And I think that's really kind of where those early foundations of 4-H and FFA kind of taught me that I belong somewhere and that I could thrive, regardless of my background, regardless of my parents' bank account. And from there, it's like I just keep wanting more. I think I'm thirsty, which is kind of a weird word, but I'm just thirsty to learn, and I'm thirsty to help others learn and give back. And I mean, this is a beautiful life, and people make fun of me, but for my birthday is September, which is by far, the greatest month of the year.
That's my birthday also, so I agree. September.
See, exactly.
Greatness was born.
And I saw, you know it. And 10 months from now, we're going to have quite a few children born here in Kentucky after this whole frozen tundra. But I celebrate all month long. And people are like, you're crazy. And there's some people that don't celebrate, like, I don't want a big fuss or whatever. I'm complete opposite. I'm like, this is a life we get. Like, live it up. Like, live it to your best. Keep on giving back. And that's just been my philosophy in life, really to live it to the most. I've been very blessed to be able to visit 49 of the 50 states, 6 of the 7 continents, 4 of the 5 oceans. And I'm still planning on getting those because I love learning, and I like an opportunity to be able to grow and learn. And the more we learn, the better off we are, especially in society. You look at today, it's like the more that we learn about others and have that empathy and that kindness, the more we can champion for each other for a better life and a better society.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kristie,
I think I got
you just
on that.
No, you're good. I think you just rolled right into my next question, and I'm going to say this in a little bit of a joking manner, but kind of not. You travel and you are involved and you volunteer and you do give and do as much in this life. And it's so funny how many people I will randomly hear. One of them this morning said, What does she do at Murray? Because she's everywhere. Right. She's with the Collegiate kids. She's in another country with a group of kids. She is at this conference. She's at that conference. She helps with Women in Ag. I see her with Jamie at the Poultry Festival. What does Kristie Guffey do at Murray? And so tell us what your actual job is. And then we can talk through some of the other really cool opportunities that while you're, influencing kids and getting to mentor them and teaching them some of this cool life philosophy of embracing what's around you, maybe some of the other cool activities you're getting to do that branches off from that primary job, if that makes sense.
Right. So I am a professor in ag science and ag education, and my official title is a professor of agriscience and graduate coordinator in the Hutson School of Agriculture.
A big one, nice, all kinds of different things.
Correct.
Yes. Well, you seem to have the energy to do it, so I think that's half the battle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, question for you. We've talked about a lot of things you've done, and one of the things I have not said yet is, and it's going to get on a little bit more serious of a note, but I do want to give you a chance because I do know you have a lot of passion here. You've done a lot of work with mental health, QRP, and different pieces like that. And I think a lot of people would be surprised once they find out what that acronym means and what we're talking about, that somebody with your high energy personality type would be the first one that a lot of people want in that room to give that conversation. If you don't care, talk to me about maybe how you got involved and what that's evolved into as you've kind of worked with different organizations on some of that QRP and mental health piece.
Absolutely. So first of all, like you said, I mean, I am a high energy. It's just who I am. It's how I'm built, and a glass half full kind of person. And so walking into the space of mental health is not something that I thought that would ever enter my spectrum. But back in 2019, my nephew was struggling mentally, and he had had a couple of bouts, in 17, 18, just, and in our family, it was, hey, just check up, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, or here's a straw, suck it up, it'll be fine, just kind of rise tomorrow. Kind of dismissal conversations. And in April of 2019, I was in Providence, Rhode Island. I was at Western Kentucky University at that time in organizational leadership and working for the Department of Defense with the U.S. Army. And so I was up there visiting a ROTC teacher. They were people who were NCOs, so non-commissioned officers. They did not have a degree, so they were teaching on a college campus. And they hired us to essentially kind of help teach them how to teach. And obviously I was a teacher, but also help them to get a degree, a bachelor's degree. And so that was our goal. And I was there. And anyways, I tend to keep my phone on silent and just let it, vibrate if there's, a phone call. Well, I'll never forget the numbers on the alarm clock, like it was in the hotel, like they were bright red, and it was 3:28 a.m. and the phone rang, like the landline at the hotel. And it was Jamie, my husband, calling to let me know that my nephew had taken a gun to his head and had shot himself, and they were life-flighting him to Nashville. And fortunately, he survived and doing much better today. And obviously, we still deal with emotions and hard times and finding pieces to put our life back together every day since April of 29. And in 2020, we had Representative Brandon Reed at the time approached the General Assembly for funds to put towards mental health. And Susan Jones, so there's another connection back to WKU, reached out, really wanted someone in Western Kentucky, and I had just landed here in Murray State in 2019. And she reached out saying, hey, there's some funds. They were working with Dr. Cheryl Witt, who at the time was at U of L, and really wanted to make a team effort for this for father mental health and suicide prevention. And so I got trained in QPR, which stands for question, persuade, and refer. And that particular program really just provides you with one the clues and cues to look out for, and the opportunity to have a conversation and question, and then refer them to a professional to help. You know, and there's part of time whenever I do any of this, do I say, hey, I'm a teacher. So that's what I do. I teach students at all levels every day. But at the end of the day, my goal is to make sure that we are taking care of our people. And it's been some hard time. And I don't see that changing. I see that we're going to continue to have hard times. And that's where the community and the past was very, we didn't talk about it. We didn't say anything. You put yourself up by your bootstraps. But literally in 6 years, there's been an evolution, a true change in how we talk about suicide. And so, like my red, you talk about what's that red light moment, or what's that moment in your life that truly said, I can no longer do what I've been doing. I have to change course. Well, that was April of 2019 for me. And then through a series of, guidance, people connecting and knowing who I am, and my opportunity and passion with education, knew that I know a lot of people. And so from there, that's kind of how that opportunity changed, and we continue to work on that today. And so QPR is a great kind of introductory program to really start that conversation and looking out for what are the signs. How can we help? And, you look at what's happening in our grain industry right now, in our cattle, in our, pig, sheep, poultry, you name it. It's really important for us to be checking on our neighbor, providing that rural, small community love and support, and checking on our neighbor to make sure they're happening. And so I always tell people, I'm like, I'm your person that, my glass is half full, let's go. But even I've had moments, and even I get help. That's the most important thing I think that I can do, is be as transparent as possible. Like, I've had tough times. The glass half full and the energetic, we all have tough times, and we all need help. And that's what the beauty of community is, really, is reaching out and saying, hey, I need help. To me, that shows how much stronger we are when we do that versus that isolation and whatnot. And QPR is really, Renee, a great program that just kind of opens up. And I've had the fortunate opportunity to be able to talk to, Farm Bureau's women's leadership. I've been able to speak at the annual meeting, in a breakout session, and in a young farmer session before, about QPR and helping to train more people to be what we call gatekeepers. If you think about on the farm, the person who goes in and out, opening the gate. Well, we want to be that. We want to be recognizing when we need to open the gate and refer them to help.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've talked about this before with other guests, of course, but I think your story is incredibly impactful. Where you live, how you grew up, what got you spurred into this. I always want to remind people we're not training your therapist. We're training people to help you know when it's past the point of what we can handle right here as a family or right here as a community. It's time to get that next step of help. And the quicker we catch those signs, the more people we have trained to catch those signs, the less likely we are thank God to have what you went through with your nephew. And so I always appreciate how you kind of give that talk. Is I'm not telling you I'm that professional. I'm not here to sign up to be your therapist. But what I am trying to do is help you know when this community, this ask them a question, maybe that's not always the right route. There's a reason we put this acronym in the order it's in. There's a reason we look at it the way we do. And little tiny tweaks in how you talk to people can stop somebody from shutting down and you missing something. And so I just really, really appreciate how you guys handle that program and your story and trying to help people, quite frankly, not go through the 3 o'clock phone call that you went through that day.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And, it's amazing to me just how much has changed in just really, truly such a short period of time when we once wouldn't even talk about it. I remember hearing a lady talk about how her father had committed suicide, and this was in the 90s. And how, in a small community, we all rally and say, we're going to bring you a ham, we're going to bring you a casserole, a pie, something like that. And no one came because it was taboo, because he had taken his own life. And we truly have changed as a society where we're having these conversations with some very stern, independent individuals that have always been used to, well, we'll just duct tape it and make it work kind of strategy. Well, that's not how you approach your physical health. That's not how we should approach our mental health as well. And so it's been kind of exciting to see that in a lot of ways. And hopefully what we've done is we've provided hope and we've had less people to feel like they're alone and that is an option. And hopefully what we've done is we said, no, there's a lot of other options and we're here for you. And we can recognize those signs earlier and then start questioning and then referring them to the people who, and we've also been able to, through all of these initiatives, 988, been able to open up the conversation where if you dial the 988 suicide hotline in Kentucky, they're going to ask you if you're a farmer. How cool is that? I mean, there's not many states that have taken the initiative that we have, and just so proud to be a Kentuckian and to be at the forefront of that. I hate that we had to get to this point, but hey, you know what? We're making strides, and what we're doing is we're providing that hope and that opportunity in all parts of Kentucky through telehealth opportunities, through apps. And working with, I'm fortunate enough to work with American Farm Bureau on their Farm State of Mind campaign. And, those, that are on our phone, everybody has their phone out. And so it's a great way for you when you're struggling to be able just to kind of reach out, and for a counselor to be there to handle that chat with you. And so, again, it's just really cool to be a part of that movement.
So, one thing I know is that just kind of transitioning a little bit. You're not the only busy person in the Guffey household. Your husband is rather involved in leadership opportunities as well, and been in part of a lot of things. Tell me a little bit about Jamie and kind of some of the things he's up to.
Okay, well, Jamie is the executive director of the Kentucky Poultry Federation and also the director of the NPIP, which is the National Poultry Improvement Plan. And so Jamie's been busy lately. Obviously, we had around the holidays a couple of outbreaks of avian influenza. So that's where the NPIP plan kind of takes place because he's a part of that, certifying for bird health and works with the Kentucky Department of Agriculture, the state vet's office within that job duty. But what he's probably most passionate about really is advocating and working with the farmer and promoting poultry in the state of Kentucky, which is the largest agricultural commodity in the state. And so we have turkey, we have broiler or meat birds, and we have layers of eggs. And so just seeing that industry grow from, I remember back in 1998, whenever the tobacco settlement was coming out, we really had this initiative to look at ways that we could transition from the dependence on tobacco into another area. And poultry kind of was that answer. Poultry stepped in and to look at it today and the billion-dollar industry that it is. And so Jamie is constantly busy. We live on a Google Calendar, shared Google Calendar, because we also have two girls and they're active. One's very active in sports. And the other is going to start that activeness. She's involved in 4-H, but in the elementary. And so the work that Jamie does really for the farmers and the companies and I mean the economy of the Commonwealth is really kind of cool to be able to see that from the spouse's seat. And so I probably know more about chicken than I ever thought I would. But hey, it's a very cheap source of protein, however you look at it. And so again, and it's wonderful to say that, hey, 98% of all farms are family owned and operated here in Kentucky in dealing with poultry. And so to know that my husband represents them and is a voice and serves on the Farm Bureau Poultry Advisory Committee to be that mediator, that in between, to really speak for what we need. And through his efforts in Kentucky Farm Bureau, several years ago, I'm sitting in his office now, but it was in the 2018 General Assembly that you all championed for the 10% weight variance on trucks going up and down the road. Livestock had that, but that didn't include poultry for some reason. And so those efforts were made to include it as livestock and poultry today. Which was a wonderful opportunity for our growers and truckers and everyone else going up and down the road to have the same rights and opportunities that cattle and pigs had.
Yeah, absolutely. I have gotten to work with Jamie a ton in my previous role, obviously doing livestock, and then today he's an executive director of a commodity group, so I get to work with him quite a lot. I think one of the most fun things that I get to see between the two of you is kind of the team effort. So you laugh about the Google Calendar. I think a lot of us that have two working spouses can relate to that, or a farm, or insert whatever that is, a sports schedule, Matt, with your kids. I'm sure that shared calendar is huge. Yeah. What I think is really impressive, what you guys have done, though, is both continue to be able to enhance your careers and not held either one back. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's internal conversations of taking turns and doing this and doing that, but it's really cool for somebody whose husband also is home farming whenever he's off work is to see that. So one of those things that I think everybody saw was you guys were, I think, back to back or pretty dang close classes on the CALP, that Kentucky Ag Leadership Program. Talk to us about why Kentucky Ag Leadership Program? Why any leadership program? Kind of talk through that thought process and why both of you in the house doing that. I mean, you would think one of you could just bring some of that home, right? So talk through maybe why that's absolutely not the case.
Well, if you know me, you know that's definitely not the case. We're all going to take those opportunities. Well, actually, Jamie started. So we were in Breckinridge County, and we served on. So we left Barron County, and we had been appointed to the Farm Bureau Board there. Moved to Hardinsburg for my career at the FFA camp and got on the board there. And Jamie knew he had been with the Poultry Federation at that time for about a year, 2 years, and he knew he really needed those leadership skills. So Jamie grew up, family had dairy farm in Clinton County, but his dad was a civil engineer, and they lived in Lexington. And Bryan Station High School did not have FFA. So he did not have those leadership opportunities that I had growing up. And so he really packaged it at Breckinridge County, really tapped on his shoulders like, you need to do this Farm Bureau leadership program. That's what you need to do. And so he did. And that just sparked an interest in him to continue on and to do more leadership. From there, he had a couple of classmates who were interested in doing the Kentucky Ag Leadership Program, which, again, originated from the Philip Morris program through tobacco. And so Jamie applied, got into class 11. And while she was in that class, we had our daughter Ayla, and then turned around and adopted our daughter Addie, all within his health class. So Addie's first day in the United States of America, his CAP class was in Bowling Green. Of course, we was in Bowling Green at the time and whatnot, and they went to Cheney's Dairy Barn. And so literally Cheney's and Dory and Neil, the whole family will always forever have a special place in my heart, because here I am packing a 15-month-old and a 5.5-year-old young lady who does not speak any English, and we are at a dairy farm, and she is loving it. And so, you know, and then we get to know Dr. Isaacs and Dr. Snell, and was that fantastic gentleman for the Commonwealth, and just what they've done and how they formed into the leaders in Kentucky. I knew I wanted to be a part of it. But at the time, it wasn't, you know, class 12, it just wasn't meant to be. We were transitioning from jobs and different stuff and young kids. And so I set out that period and did not go through with the nomination process. But then applied and got in exactly when I should have, which is class 13. I'm the weird person who, you know, black cats crossing my path means good luck. And the number 13 is A-OK. So I get to be a part of that. But seeing Jamie grow and just the connections, I mean, honestly, the travel also, learning about different aspects of agriculture in the Commonwealth. But really, it was the networking and those foundations that he built. He then proceeded to do the Kentucky Leadership Program. Which I think is something that we need to probably look at as an opportunity for more folks in agriculture to represent. Leadership Kentucky, he was one of the few, I think he was the only one in agriculture that was in that group. And what a great opportunity to advocate for agriculture and the poultry industry by that. And so that led me into our program. I still think that we were by far the most unique class, obviously class 13, but still to this very day, I mean, we text, we communicate, when we need help, we're there for each other. But what that program really does is it builds the next class of leaders throughout the state. And I will just speak, you know, whether we're in Frankfurt or Washington, D.C., or here in Murray, Kentucky. We're advocating in our communities, and it really starts on that grassroots effort. And so if you've not done a Kentucky Ag Leadership class, they are actually, you know, in class 15 right now, and should be starting that next week, I think, with I believe this will be Dr. Isaac's last group. So that's kind of a touching point there for him, class 15. And all the work that he's done throughout the year.
Very neat, very neat. So, speaking of Murray, you guys have a Collegiate Farm Bureau. Can you tell us a little bit about what is, you know, our audience may not know exactly what a Collegiate Farm Bureau is, and you see it every day. So, to tell us what is a Collegiate Farm Bureau in your all's world, and how fun has that been to be a part of? Are you there? We lost her. That was a really bland question. Here, let's try to call her.
Your question sucked.
That question, well, I give it. Try to call her again, maybe. Did she like fully hang up? Yeah, that one she just, it said call failed. Okay, she's calling. It's okay. We'll have to edit around that one.
Hello.
Hello, we lost you. It's okay. I don't know what we heard. I'm going to reboot. I was going to transition and talk about Collegiate Farm Bureau a little bit. If that's okay. So
yes, I was starting to talk and then it just all failed.
Disappeared. So okay, let me just re-ask the question. Are you recording again, Austin? Okay. So yeah. So speaking of Murray, you're with Murray State, and you're a part of the Murray State Collegiate Farm Bureau. I think this is something that isn't new, but it's a thing that's kind of getting some new energy throughout schools all over the state. And Murray's one of the great ones we have. So talk us a little bit about what is a Collegiate Farm Bureau, and why is it a good thing, and especially from your eyes, you're seeing it every day in your neck of the woods. So tell us a little bit about what is a Collegiate Farm Bureau and why is it such a good thing?
Well, first of all, a lot of schools and colleges throughout have clubs and opportunities, and then faculty members get an opportunity to be a part of that. It's part of their service. And so I was approached to be a part of that through Tony Holloway, and he was the APD for this area to kind of reboot Murray State's Collegiate Farm Bureau. Back several years ago, there was a group, probably like 14, 15, 16, sometime in that era, that had a Collegiate Farm Bureau here at Murray State. And then it just kind of, fell to the wayside, so to speak. And so Tony really challenged me, and Jackson Toll had challenged me to kind of help reboot that. We have IFL, Institute for Future Agricultural Leaders, and they kind of felt like, we really need to look at this opportunity to build our next leadership. So Sharon Purchase was second VP and really championed to do Generation Bridge. So it was like, okay, so we do stuff for young farmers, and then you have your older leadership in Farm Bureau that tends to be your board presidents and whatnot, but there wasn't anything in between. Well, this was the same aspect. It was like, how do we talk about Farm Bureau with the youth through FFA and 4-H. So they get a little glimpse through the Outstanding Farm Bureau Youth Contest, the Variety Talent Show, and then IFL. And it's a great introduction into Farm Bureau. And then we're like, okay, well, when you become young farmers, and that is age 18 but literally, how do we try to encourage you to be more active? I truly think that Collegiate Farm Bureau is one of the best programs that we can offer for our students at Murray State in agriculture. And the reason for that is because what does Farm Bureau Federation do? At its absolute core, it is a grassroots organization that advocates for what we do. And why would we not try to focus on doing that earlier in their career, exposing them to the bowels of the organization, exposing them to what our advocacy is all about. And that's about policy. And if we're not at the table, policy is still going to be made, and it may not be in our favor. And so I think it truly changes the trajectory of students by exposing them and by getting them active. So it's typical, we meet about 4 times throughout a semester. Unfortunately, Monday was our, Collegiate Farm Bureau kickoff, and we were going to have discussion meet competition between our 2 people. And unfortunately, the firm decided to come in and wreak a little havoc for us, so we did not have our meeting. But typically at our meeting, what we do is we talk about what's going on and our activities. And we have, coming up in February, we're going to Frankfurt. And so at the meeting that would have happened on Monday that we'll have to reschedule, we're going to really talk about it. We're going to try to bring 10 members up. And for us, it's not a day trip, right? So this is we got to go, we got to spend the night in a hotel, pay for expenses. But it's important for us to show up and represent Western Kentucky as a Collegiate Farm Bureau and learning about all the benefits. That's one thing that a lot of people don't understand, but there are so many benefits for being a Farm Bureau member, whether it's the Farm State of Mind, it's discounts at certain stores, but there's so many benefits to the networking and to the opportunities that we have through Farm Bureau, and just being able to see our students grow and learn. And we don't have just Kentucky kids here. We get kids from Tennessee, from Illinois, Missouri, and for them to learn about our federation and how impactful it is throughout the Commonwealth, but then also for Kentucky kids to see, how does Tennessee work? How are they different? What are some opportunities that we can work together to grow and empower ag throughout the country? And I think that's what's really cool about sitting in my seat with advisory. And I've got great co-advisors. I mean, you all talked about how Jamie and I do this. There is no alone. It's all we. And whether that's Rayanne Holland or Blake Kennedy, who work with me in Farm Bureau here on the collegiate level, but I also have an amazing board. I serve on the Carlisle County Farm Bureau board. Trick Purchases, our president, Robert Guerin, was that before. But they have been nothing but supportive of our program, what we do. They come to our meetings. They invite us to go to theirs. And I think that creates a richness that has helped us to stay as strong as we are. We started this back in 21 and really have thrived since then with building more and more kids who are engaged in the conversations and that are engaged with Farm Bureau and the policy that we start and implement.
Well, I think that is, I don't know if we could have picked more boxes to check. I think Taylor Nash is just smiling somewhere. Not unassisted. She just hit every single mark that we've ever striven for in this collegiate. I mean, seriously, it's when it comes to training another age group, coordination and understanding of what a county leader looks like, understanding the opportunities that are there. I think a lot of people see the big pieces. Oh, look at them in Frankfurt. Look at them in D.C. The idea that I think a lot of people miss on Collegiate is that local connection. And that's so important, because those kids are going to leave, and most of them are not going to just go live in D.C. and lobby for ag. Most of them are going to go to another community and have an opportunity to hopefully join a Farm Bureau board or join a small organization in their own county and start making a difference. And I think that part is the part you probably, in my opinion, hit the nail on the head of things that people don't maybe see on social media all the time. But because that's maybe not the part the kids are going to take a picture of, but I think they're going to look back and realize how important it was that they met Robert Guerin and they knew Sharon Furchess and Tripp and they'd been to their farm or they'd been to their meetings. I mean, I think that stuff's just so important. And so I appreciate you highlighting that portion as well, because that's a huge piece in my opinion.
Absolutely. And if you think about it, I mean, we want to stay, I mean, obviously leadership, to me, I've always said this, leadership is about people and people are about relationships, and you got to take time to invest in people. And in ag, I think we do a lot of great things, but investing, what Farm Bureau has done is investing in Collegiate Farm Bureau, seeing what we've done in the past and saying, hey, I think this is an opportunity for us to look at sustaining leadership for the long haul. The more we bring people in and we start mentoring them and providing those opportunities to see what the board does and how they advocate for the things in their community, that's really where Farm Bureau makes the biggest difference. It's inviting Representative Imes and Judge Imes to our meeting, Senator House. Those are our people. Our students know who they are because they showed up at meetings. I mean, that's where it's impressive. That's where they start to learn, how to make an impact in their community that will, again, hopefully be a positive light for ag in the future.
Well, we appreciate, these things only happen because people put that good energy that we've talked about through this podcast towards all this good work that you've done. So we really appreciate you and the efforts you put in that, and really everything you're a part of. So you're one of those members that do the work that we say they do, and you're out there doing it every day. So we really appreciate you. Thank you for, still hopping on the podcast, maybe a little different than we anticipated, but it was still really good to hear from you.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for having me, and I appreciate all the work that you all do day in, day out to advocate for ag and to shed some light on, some of the tough topics as well that we kind of talk about and mention today too. So thank you all so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kristie, and thank you, listeners. Be sure to subscribe and take a look back at some of our older episodes, and we'll see you next time on Let's Get Rural.